Sorry about that. I had an emergency. I hate that we had to stop that way. So you may continue.
No problem. But I think that the lack of emotion when I speak about it is because I don't know if there's really any emotion attached to my the way I feel for him, because I don't, like I've never had the relationship. I've never, had any type of emotional attachment to him. So,
But to be honest, in order for you to know you're having a flat effect, or for you to know that you need not to show emotion, somewhere along the line you've had emotions before. So I think you're trying to bury these feelings because in your mind you're trying to convince yourself that he doesn't matter, or he hasn't been around, so I'm not going to make him a priority or a memory in my head. But somewhere along the line you're going to remember going to the jailhouse to see your father, or him not being there, or missing birthdays, or you may even remember him as a child, but as an adult, we tend to try to, shield our feelings, so to, if that makes sense to you.
I mean, I do remember, those instances when I was younger, but again, I just don't know if, I mean, of course, well, okay, for lack of a better term, of course, I feel, some kind of way about him missing the graduations, the birthdays, and everything, because he still is a parent. But I mean, after just so many, I mean, you just kind of become accustomed to, or
Him
used
not
to,
being there.
yeah. So it's really like you don't expect anything more than what you've been getting over the years.
And as an adult, do you feel like him not being there affected you in any way?
Um. Mm, I don't. I honestly don't know. I know oftentimes, like if, especially with with women, if they did not have a father figure, they tend to seek that relationship in their romantic lives. But I don't feel like I've dealt with any promiscuity or wanting a relationship, where I felt like I was with someone who was an authoritative figure or anything like that. But I mean, I guess in certain ways, those feelings may have manifested in whether it be me wanting to be in control of things and having the final say so in things, or wanting maybe, I'm trying to see, or wanting like a male in my life who can take charge and make decisions and things like that. So in that sense, possibly, but nothing that's really made a serious impact on my life.
And I don't know. That seems to be very interesting, I guess, to say the least, because you're right. A lot of women who don't have their father, they do tend to look for love in all the wrong places. So it's amazing that you've geared that energy into something positive, or you took control of that entire situation, because um, as I was speaking about myself earlier, that was something hard for me to do, and I wasn't promiscuous, but I really longed for that male love. I always wanted that love from somebody, and I didn't care where I got it from. So that's very commendable. Um, so with that being said, are you gonna encourage the relationship with him?
Well, kind of like I said, I mean, I guess I'm open to it, but he would have to initiate it. He would have to push for it. Like, I think, I don't know. Like, I don't have any push behind wanting to have a relationship with him. I mean, I'm open to it. I wouldn't oppose. I wouldn't be opposed to the relationship, but it would have to be something that's initiated by him and that's driven primarily by him.
You seem to get very aggressive when I speak about the relationship with your father. When you speak about him, you're very flat effect, no emotion listed, but and then you say, yeah, I'm okay with the relationship. I'm okay if we have it. But as soon as I mention, okay, well, how are you going to initiate the relationship? You get very defensive, and.
Well, I think that through it all, I think that's the one thing that I can't say for sure. I may not really be able to pinpoint my emotions or pinpoint how I feel about it, but one thing about it, and two things for sure: if it's going to be a relationship, it's going to be initiated by him. It is going to be driven by him. That's the one thing I do know for sure. Like as far as my emotions and everything, and all the other stuff goes, that's kind of just
Up in the air.
yeah, I can't really pinpoint it. I can't really say exactly how I feel, because I really don't know exactly how I feel about it. But when it comes to that one aspect of it, that's what I do know for sure.
I would like to know, how do you plan on having this relationship with a man that you don't want to initiate the relationship with, because he's no mind reader. No one is.
Right.
So are
you
you
have to
gonna
communicate. I mean, I think I'm a good communicator. You have to always say what's in your mind. You can't expect for people to assume things. But when it comes to my father, of course, I can't expect for him to know how I feel. I can't assume that he knows how I feel. But I just have to really determine whether I care enough to let him know how I feel.
Mm-hmm. And that's a really good point. Now, I can really appreciate you saying that. You're right. You have to determine if you care enough to know how you feel. Mm-hmm. And that's the response I was trying to get out of you, because your emotions fluctuate. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't feel any kind of way, your emotions would be flat all the way around. So you're right. At a certain point, you have to realize, does it even matter?
Right. I think that's where I am now.
Are you going to let him affect you either way? Is it going to affect me if I never speak to him again, or is it going to affect me if I speak to him every day? Does it matter to me if he calls me or don't call me? Mm-hmm. Call me, or am I going to call him and say, "Hey, this is really what I want, but I really need to see this out of you"? It's really going to be up to you, because he doesn't know. He may feel, a little guarded. He may feel like, wow, my daughter's so accomplished, and she's an amazing woman, and I don't know how to approach her. I tend to think that people respond to life circumstances just based upon how they were raised, or the only things that they know. So, you may know some things that he don't know. So maybe that's something we need to look into. And I don't want to, touch on that right now, just because I know how sensitive this topic is. Although you express that it doesn't matter either way, I can see in your facial expressions and the way you're fidgety with your fingers, and you roll your hair, your eyes, and you flip your hair, and you have to make a sudden move when we're speaking about it, as if it makes you uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I want you to know that I'm aware of that, and I really do see it. So I don't want to push you to a point where I won't be able to bring you back before, we have to end our session. So is there anything that you think we need to speak about, or that you think I missed, or?
No, I think you got it.
Would you like to tell me about your day or anything of that nature?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Well, I think the next time that we meet, we're going to kind of touch on the places, the delicate areas in the relationship that you kind of try to compose this, this session. And maybe when you go home, you need to think about it. Think about how much that once a year phone call, how much that impacts you to know that.
I don't get it once. I don't even get it once a year though. So it could be like a leap year. It could be. It's not consistent. So I mean,
and that's something to think about. There's something else to think about. Do you want to go to your father and say, "Hey, look, I look forward to those calls once a year, and when you don't call, that bothers me. So maybe you just don't need to call me." Or maybe you should try calling me more often so I can get used to that. Or, anything. And you always have to remember that we have to take care of self first. Mm-hmm. So if it's affecting you in some way, you should tell them. Don't carry that burden by yourself.
I agree.
So that would be something that you could do for your counseling homework. Maybe you need to go home and consider, your true feelings about the situation, and what you're willing to share, and what you're willing to face, and realize that you can't bury, the neglect that you feel that by him not being there, or the anger you feel about when he do come around, that he's always bringing someone with him, and it's never, him and Brianna's time. Or maybe you're considering your mom's feelings, or things that your mom may have said that you don't even know that you're really, tuning into, so to speak. So
good point.
So I can't wait to speak to you next time. I can't wait to hear what else you have to share with me about the situation, and I'm glad that at least at the end of the session, you're able to hit on some of your true feelings.
I agree.
Okay. Good night.